This is an urgent message for someone in the collective. Someone in the collective. Spirit is revealing to me that the person that you're actually calling your soulmate, your person, might actually be a parasitic energy vampire draining your divine light. And it's time for us to unmask the counterfeit connection before you are left completely empty and broken. So before we get started, a bit of a prayer. Holy Spirit, I ask that you protect my light, also the collective that is with me. Any negative, bad energy, return to sender. Evil eye, please blind. All right, so we are going to get started. Being as though that this was a message that I'd gotten beforehand, I did meditate just a little bit just to get some type of clarity, but I also did a pre-shuffle. So I have pulled 3 cards. I got the 3 of Wands in reverse. Okay. Lack of planning, no foresight. You just in one place. You're feeling small. Then I had the 4 of Cups here. And what I look at that is lack of planning, foresight, no foresight. You're feeling small. And that is because maybe there is an energy that is just too much energy, a lot bigger than you, which makes you feel a little bit small, makes you feel like you don't have everything together. Yeah, you don't have everything together. And you know that they're draining you. And that 4 of Cups, what they want to offer you, you definitely don't want that. That's why you're looking away. Also with that 4 of Cups, 3 of Cups in reverse. Okay, 3 of Cups in reverse. So this vampire that we're talking about, maybe the reason why they're draining you and you're having so many issues, they could be someone that kind of parties a little bit too much. I don't want to say heavy, but maybe they party a little bit too much or overindulge, and that can be something that affects you, affects your behavior. Yeah, upright, they're celebrating. It's a good time. In reverse, I look at that as that's a disaster. Uh, you can't hold your drink. Everybody looks kind of sloppy. So, yeah, it looks like somebody that you've actually had to dumb yourself down, make yourself small, so that you can fit in their world. But you know that whatever they're offering, you don't want because they've got some issues, right? So a 4th card that came out, that was a 9 of Pentacles. Let's see what else we can get with this. Spirit, more for the collective. More for the collective and this energetic vampire. What are they up to? We need to find that out. Oh, see, when I said we need to find that out, I got a few too many. Okay. Get one more, then we'll talk about that. Okay. So let me just say this right off the bat. It's like every other card is in reverse. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but doesn't always mean a good thing. It started out with that 9 of Pentacles, which collective, I'm going to say this is you, someone that has their stuff together. You're financially independent. You're doing whatever you need to do to make sure you're getting along in life the way you'd like to, right? The next card out was the Death in reverse. Okay. This is just letting, look, we talked about this. The 3 of Wands in reverse. You're just standing there. It's like stagnation. Death in reverse is stagnation, resistant to change. And maybe you're stagnant and resistant to change because someone needs you to be stagnant and resistant to change. They need you where you are, right? And I'm so sorry. Death in reverse, that's Scorpio. We know that that's water. We talked about that Nine of Pentacles. I also have Temperance. Temperance is also in reverse. We see a pattern here, and that is fire, Sagittarius. Basically, we know upright, you're aligned. It could mean you're aligned, balanced, but this also, just like the Three of Cups, talks about overindulgence, alcoholism, and addiction. Okay. So right off the bat, and this is just the feeling that I'm getting, your vampire has a problem. I don't know which substance, but this is the second card that's come up with overindulgence, and it even doubled down on overindulgence when it came back with alcoholism and addiction. When you're in a state like that, you're not balanced and you're not in alignment. In order for you to be aligned and balanced, you would have to heal, which means you'd stop drinking. Maybe you went to whatever the case may be. What this is saying here, I know that this energy, especially these cards in reverse, this is not the collective. This is your vampire. And no wonder they're stealing your energy. They need it. They're drunk all the time or high, who knows? Let's see if we can find some more out for you. Ooh. There's someone that I watch on YouTube, and I love this guy. Chiron Intuition. Okay. And the reason that I thought about him is there's a card that popped out on me. And the card that popped out on me is the devil. You know what I wanted to say? I want to throw these cards right now because that is something he says. And I understand that energy in this moment right now. So shout out to Chiron Intuition. But I'm not going to throw the cards. That's yours. I'm not going to bite. All right, y'all. Look. Devil. So that goes along with that vampire and depleting your energy, the negativity, they're toxic. Let's see what else we can find out. Maybe why, or what are you having in store? What you trying to do here? Because typically, vampires, demons, they got plans for you, don't they? They're not hanging around just to hang around. Okay. Okay, that is a Four of Swords in reverse. Typically, that's upright. You are resting. In reverse, you are exhausted. And with someone that is depleting your energy, such as an energy vampire, yeah, in reverse, you would be exhausted. Yeah, this person is a lot for you to handle. It's a lot. And what really is doing you in is if you could see who they were, then maybe you could deal with them differently or not at all, right? But because you don't know what you're dealing with, because they're cloaked, they're masked, you don't know who you're really dealing with. And because you're trying to figure it out, mentally you're exhausted. Five of Wands. Five of Wands. If it ain't nothing but a fight, I got to fight every night to prove my love. I wouldn't fight no more to prove nothing about this joker. Let's see what else we can get. Wow. That toxic energy that's draining you. You're restless, like you really kind of going through it. And then that fight, that's a bit much. Whoever I'm talking to, that is a bit much. Two of Cups in reverse. I had a conversation about this specific card yesterday in reverse. I've got a very good friend who has found her dream guy, but she just so happens to have an existing guy who they're growing apart. It's a breakup, but it's messy because they live together, right? So the person that she has met in the midst of this mess, they're moving, they're going out of town. They're going to build a house, happily ever after, right? So she asked me to read her. I read her and I get a Two of Cups in reverse, which is nothing, talks nothing but about breakup and balance. So that's what came up for you first. I know you're like, why did you have to tell that long ass story? But it's just, I don't see this much. And it's not that it can't come out in reverse. I just don't see it much, right? But when I see it, I know that there's a problem. Seven of Pentacles. And what this says, you've been investing, you've been putting a whole lot into this. You've been watching this horrible relationship, looking for some type of growth. You meant well. Collective, you meant well. But we need for you to see this person because they don't mean you any good. Any good. All right. So I had a few that popped out on me. I cannot take them all, but two that were upright. Ten of Wands. Big burden. Too much, the most. There's a lot behind this. A lot behind it. No wonder you're going through a breakup. Second card that came out was a King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, and I'm so sorry, that 10 of Wands, that is fire, Sagittarius, Leo. Also the 7 of Pentacles, Taurus. We got a little earth there, and that 2 of Cups in reverse. Of course, we do know that that is water, Cancer. So first card out, that was that King of Pentacles, and we know that's about business, right? Business-minded gentleman, about his wealth, prosperity. There's a 7 of Swords, somebody that's coming to betray you or steal your wealth from you, potential wealth. Look at them. Right after your King of Pentacles, and this came out right after. So coming for my dough. You not only want my energy, you want my money too. Oh, wow. See what else we can get for you. Okay. Need I say any more? No one should be shocked. I'm not looking at this as, I look at this as somebody trying to manifest some bullshit on you. This is somebody doing magic on you. Had 2 cards that came out. First one is, that's the Page of Cups. I look at this as, and I'm going to get another card for this, but I think somebody is going to have to start using your intuition. You're going to have to start seeing, you're going to have to take those rose-colored glasses off. You're not seeing this for how this is. You're not. Page of Cups, it's like an intuitive, it's a message. Intuitive message coming for you. And look, that's an 8 of Wands, and it's coming soon if it hasn't already came. There's a lot of ways to interpret that that Page of Cups, and typically I would have looked at it in a more positive way, but you can't because this isn't positive, right? But this right here, here's somebody trying to do some magic on you. They're stealing from you. A breakup is happening if it hasn't already. The devil then popped out. Somebody's draining your energy. All this craziness going on, right? And to sum it all up, the 5 of Pentacles. The information is coming in, that intuitive message, that message that you're getting, that if you haven't already gotten it, it's coming. These messages are timeless, so it could have already happened. It could be happening now, or it could be happening months from now, whatever. But as quickly as it was coming in, and I looked at that Five of Pentacles, once you know what you're dealing with, what you're up against, you don't have to be in that mindset. You don't have to be in the Five of Pentacles. You just have to be aware of what you're dealing with. Not only aware of what you're dealing with, but you also need protection in whoever this is that you're dealing with. Five of Pentacles, that was Taurus. The Eight of Wands, we got some fire there. That's Sagittarius. That Page of Cups, of course, that's water. An intuitive message about somebody that's immature. They're immature in their actions. Yep. And they're lazy. Not only that, they're overly sensitive. And they're a little bit messy. And I know you're saying, where did you get all this from? Looking at the card. That's a very young person. You know, they're sitting there, they're looking at, they don't know what they're looking at. They're trying to make it out. And younger, you are a little bit more sensitive. Your skin isn't as thick yet. But yeah, we got a young person. Maybe it's a young person bringing you this message, bringing you that information. A kid, niece, nephew, I don't know. King of Pentacles. So collective, can we just agree that you may be in that King of Pentacle energy, that this is your energy? No wonder someone would want to siphon that type of energy. That's money, right? And for them playing with you, you see that? That's judgment. Judgment's been called. You can't play with somebody. You can't play with a child of God. Seven of Pentacles, it came out, but it came out in reference to your Two of Cups, the relationship breaking up, and it was in reverse. And the next card was that Seven of Pentacles, and that's you actually just, I felt like you're watching that relationship, or what you invested into it, what you put into it. But when it came out with the King of Pentacles, judgment had been called. You've got something that you're investing in. Maybe it's your future. Maybe it's money. But it won't be in this person that is depleting your energy. And I know you have to be very careful when you're speaking of things like addiction, alcohol. You really have to be careful. Some people, especially the people that maybe need to hear it, get offended. And they don't want to hear it. They might turn a blind eye. They just do not want to deal with that topic. So you don't want it to come off as an intervention, but honestly, in that first line there, and those two cards that came out, especially in reverse, this person that's draining your energy, that vampire, I bet you, they've got some type of problem. I'm not going to call them an alcoholic or an addict, but I think you have a problem. I think you got a problem. Okay, let's see what else we can get for you. First line, it came out right after the Devil, but it was the Four of Swords in reverse. This time, it's upright. Okay, completion. You can go on and get you some rest. So look how this is turning out for you. Okay. That's a Three of Cups. Maybe you're getting some help. And that wouldn't be a bad thing. Go to a couple of friends, and that's three. You let them know what you're up against, and more than likely they probably already know, because we do talk to our friends or peeps about what's going on, good and bad. And I think as a result of you letting people in and knowing what you've been going through with this person, because this person is a mess, the Most High, God was already on the case. Source was already on it for you. There's no way that a person with a heart as good as the collective that would be going through something like this with a person like that. It had to have been a lesson, but God wouldn't allow somebody to keep abusing you like this. All right. Strength, Leo. We just talked about lessons. Hierophant, and who better to teach you a lesson than the man himself or the woman? Here's the Hierophant. Look at that. 6 of Wands. Go on and get your recognition, your victory. Go on and get your bells on. Get away from that person. Look at how that last line, and that's a different deck, how everything aligned. When this started out, no alignment. It was suggesting that you need realignment. It was a hot mess up here. But as this closed out, and I know that this is the collective, this last line, this beautiful energy, as well as I knew that it was the collective that was being done horribly by this bad energy. I will say this. I'm going to get your angel message. Whoever this is for, you know who this is. It may not be for everybody. It could be for somebody. It could be for nobody. But whoever this is for, they know it, and you know who that person is that's draining your energy. You know it. Vampire is a cute little adjective to put on it to make it more interesting, but it's just somebody that is low vibrational. And they're bringing you down. They're killing your vibe. That's all. Okay. Abundance. Abundance in everything, not just money, abundance and happiness, abundance and peace. You deserve that. Anybody that is constantly pulling from you, pulling and pulling, that's a person that needs replenished. You need to be built back up. Okay. Joy. When I feel happy, I manifest more reasons to be happy. That's good advice. Last one here, gratitude. And all of this messiness, sometimes it's hard to, sit down and see what you could be thankful for, what is right in front of you, because you're looking at the mess that you're in and how badly somebody's doing you. But just take a minute or two and think about it, just at least one thing that you are grateful for today. I'm grateful that I put my feet on the floor. And that's important, but whoever this is for, you think about that, because that's going to be important to you. In all of this mess, you found gratitude. I really appreciate you guys hanging with me. I hope this message was informative. It was urgent, and it's for someone. I really hope it helped you. Hit that like button, hit the like, subscribe, share, and come on back. I'll see you soon.